coming on to talk about sports and more specifically MLB from CBS Sports. He covers the MLB, Danny Vietti.
Somebody's going to beat the Cleveland Browns this year. Is it going to be another opponent, or is it going to be the Cleveland Browns? That's their storyline, and the season will answer that story.
Well, my prediction preseason, because we always have to do that at ESPN, give us your predictions, make us look like idiots, was Astros and Nationals, with the Astros winning. Given the fact that both those teams still look like they're in the mix for that eventuality, I'm going to stick with that, Astros and Nationals, with Astros winning.
Play action. He's going to take himself around the left big hole 40, 35, 30, cuts it upfield, spin move 20. Action Jackson 10, and dancing into the end zone. Touchdown Ravens. Has time launching it down the middle of the field, called at the 20. Sammy Watkins 10, walking into the end zone, and the Chiefs are going to be going to Miami. What's going on, Sportscaster, YouTube, and beyond? Thanks for watching this video. I'm Yosef Macinta, and I hope you're having a great day as I welcome you into episode 4 of the Ravens vs. Browns Week 14 Deep Dive, where I'll go through every play of the game. I talk about what happened, why it happened, should it have happened, who messed up, who excelled, and a whole lot more. This was absolutely the best game of the regular season, and I think it was the best game of the playoffs as well. Playoff implications, stars making big-time plays making stars, and of course, a dramatic Hollywood ending. But before we get to the film, please check out my podcast, Sports with Yosef. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That's Sports with Yosef. Check out all of my videos on Sportscaster, sportscastr.com. My username is YosefM613. Please also check out my articles for Flurry, Sports Tackler, Sportscaster News, and Rocky and Meisty. I know it's a lot of content, I know it's a lot of sites, and I know it's a lot of things to remember in your very busy lives. Well, I made it easy for you by creating a website, YosefM613.com, YOSEFM613, where you can check out all of my articles, all of my podcasts, a whole bunch of my videos, including the series on the video page, as well as subscribing to get email updates every time I post new content. It's right there on the homepage, really easy for you, YosefM613.com, and please subscribe to get those email updates. If you're on Twitter, I really appreciate if you could give me a follow. My handle is, you guessed it, YosefM613. Trying to grow Twitter. I need your help. YOSEFM613. All right, so the Ravens trying to match what the Browns did on their first drive. Browns marched down the field 11 plays and took it to the house on a Nick Chubb 7-yard touchdown run. Well, the Ravens, they've got a drive going. They're at near midfield, their own 46-yard line, facing a 3rd down and 7, 5:25 to go in the first quarter. Browns up 7-0. Ravens, their first drive of the game so far. Lamar Jackson only one pass on this drive. He had one other passing play, two other passing plays, which he took off to run. Either because of the pressure or because of the availability of the run. Mark Ingram, talked about him. He will not be in for the rest of this game. Only in on that first play, but let's get to the game. All right, heading up into Cleveland. 3rd down and 7. Big play here. Ravens got to keep this drive alive. Jackson starting off in this shotgun formation, back to his left. 2 receivers left. It's Justice Hill. 3rd down specialist. Ravens use. Jackson going deep. Up. Incomplete. Laundry flies onto the field. And this will go against Cleveland. Defensive pass interference. MJ Stewart. He was called for holding on Hollywood earlier in the drive. Episode 3. Highly suggest checking out the other episodes if you've not seen them yet. Alright, what's going on this play? First off, Justice Hill coming in right here. Justice Hill is the Ravens' 3rd down specialist. I don't know if he'll make the team in 2021. Good blocker, good pass catcher. Not really done much. I don't even know if he's had a touchdown yet. I mean, and I know it's been tough with being a Ravens running back. They've just got so many options there, but he's in on this play. And the Ravens going 11 personnel, one running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. Browns countering that with a nickel defense, 5 defensive backs. Okay, let's take a look at this pass concept. from Greg Roman. He's going to send two symmetrical formation until he sends Justice Hill out. Blitz coming. Guy got to Jackson, but let's go back right until Lamar Jackson throws the ball right here. Or maybe a second after. Okay, so looks like we've got a couple different routes here. Let's go with the pen. Start right off. We got a drag. Deep. Deep. And then you had this Justice Hill corner. So that's kind of the route progression right here. Talked about high lows in the last episode. Well, you're gonna have one right here. You can get one right there. I mean, there's a nice high low option. If you really want to get fancy, you can go there. Now I don't know if that's Jackson's read, but it's an option for him. Let's take a look what Jackson's read was. Okay, so he's looking left right away. He's looking one. Okay, so here's his read. And some of this is going to be guessing. This is the number one. If Hollywood's not there, he's probably going to go over the middle here to 2, 3, 4. And if he needs a quick check down, he's got Snead. Keep in mind it's 3rd down and 7. So that means if the ball's at the 46, he's going to have to get all the way down to right here. So you do want to... Now, how many of these 5 routes take you past 1st down? You don't love the chances of Snead. You probably could get Hill if he's got the room. But it's the 2 deep balls. Looks like I believe that's Mark Andrews, but I could be wrong. Maybe that's Andrews, and that's Boykin. And obviously Hollywood Brown right here. But Jackson's first looking at Hollywood Brown. It's a decent pass concept. So one thing you're doing right away, and I'm going to head back just a little bit into play, is when you motion him, right here, you know it's man coverage. Now, likely what's going to happen, let's go, I need a different color. Let's go orange. Not sure why that just happened. Right off the bat, Jackson sees it's single high right here. So that normally means you've got this deep safety right here. So he's going to have to choose between one of the 2 deep routes. And so Jackson right off the bat is actually looking up at the middle, trying to freeze him so he can go to Hollywood Brown. Because once he knows it's man coverage, well, that's a matchup he likes. Hollywood Brown, this is just a pure leg race. Who's faster? Or now, what the wide receiver and the quarterback want is outside release. You see Hollywood right here. He gets released to the outside. And they do this on purpose. The guy who gets inside release is right there, Willie. I can't tell what that is. I think that's Boykin. See if I can get a number. No, that's Duvernay. Duvernay gets inside release. He gets released towards the inside of the field. Hollywood very much, you want outside release here because what it does is it gives Lamar Jackson a couple different angles where he can throw the ball. Number one, he can throw the ball like right there towards the sideline. This is a typical 9 route where, I'll erase this right after, but where a receiver would go like that. That's a typical 9 route because the quarterback, because he'll have the leverage and he's got the outside release, it's just his body, the wide receiver's body's in the way of the ball. You can also go over the top as well. If you're going with this, you don't really want to throw towards the middle of the field. So it looks like Jackson's looking off the safety. At this point, it's one-on-one matchup. Lamar's got to make this throw. Now, look at this pressure here on Lamar Jackson, though. He's under a lot of pressure. So what's going to happen? Let's take away the last couple of drawings and take a look at where this throw is. This ball, can you see the ball? 'Cause I lost it. Okay, this ball's underthrown. I think it's time to clear this screen. I'll be honest though, and got my screenshot of this because it's a good drawing, and let's move on. So if you see Lamar Jackson, the ball out of his hand, you kind of see it right there. Getting down the field. Hollywood's really fast. He's open, but look, he has to come back for the ball. This ball's underthrown. And MJ Stewart's just going to run into him because... So it's not passing interference if your head is looking at the ball. But because MJ Stewart is not playing the ball, he's playing the receiver and he runs into him, that's passing interference. And that is a correct call. Now, if his head was looking at the quarterback, that's legal. Interesting caveat on that. So we talked... Let's just... Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have really deleted it. Let's take a look at Mark Andrews here. Just for a second. Probably should not have deleted my drawing. My great drawing. Mark Andrews is just going to run a very simple route right here. He's just going to run... Nope. I need the mouse. He's just going to run this. Fake outside and come in. Depth is a little bit off. Now what this does here, and we were talking a little bit about this last episode, is if you got a deep safety there, and you got a middle linebacker covering there, you got these are bad drawings, but you get the overall point. It's a zone beater, so you've got every play. You need to have ways to beat man coverage. You need to have plays to beat zone coverage, and Lamar Jackson's got to be able to figure that out before the snap. The motion tells him it's man, so he doesn't need to look at Andrews initially. Now, it's not like Andrews couldn't get open in man coverage as well, don't get me wrong. But it works very well against zone just because of that soft spot, especially in that prototypical Tampa 2 defense. So, Andrews running it. So you see the elements of this is a great what Hollywood Brown's doing here at the bottom of the screen. That's a great man beater. And Mark Andrews running zone beater, just seeing some of the complexities that which go into designing some of these NFL plays. And Willie Snead, who ran this basic drag, that's a man beater. That's just, again, like this Hollywood one. It's just kind of it's all about your release and then pure speed. It's a leg race. It's a leg race just to get across or down the field. So let's clear the screen and watch this. Oh no, we're not done yet. Gotta look at the backfield because the Browns bring the blitz here. 4 is standard, 5 is a blitz. I guess you could say Vernon is the blitzing guy because he's technically a linebacker. And look at where Myles Garrett is. He's been going against Orlando Brown normally. Nope, this time he wants to go against Bradley Bozeman. And he beats Bozeman badly inside. So let's take a look at this. Right here. I think we had to play last episode where Bozeman was off center with his guy. Bozeman gets off center. He puts a shove on him, but it's too little too late here. Garrett's coming free. Now, everyone else actually has decent blocking. Orlando Brown versus number 94. That's not great blocking here going against Adrian Claiborne. I wouldn't... Claiborne's just trying to speed rush him. And Claiborne pretty much got around Brown here. Not what you'd like to see a little bit better from Orlando Brown. But Olivier Vernon, Tyree Phillips handling him. That's good to see. All right, and here is a stunt. This is very fun stuff. So so normally you can have every... I need a different color. Let's go to blue. And we'll make it thicker. Normally, you're going to have every guy just coming right up the field, and they're just going straight to the quarterback, generally. A stunt's a little bit different. What you're going to have is Richards is going to go here, and then back, and then number 93, B.J. Goodson. So Goodson's really the blitzing guy, 'cause he is a middle linebacker. B.J. Goodson's going to loop back around. No, this is not a smiley face. So you'll see Richards move to the left, and then I should say Goodson's going to loop back around. Look at this. Richardson moving in, trying to I mean, you see how Makari's blocking Richardson. Ben Powers is waiting for B.J. Goodson. He's not coming because he's looping back around. And when you're technically, and they actually do, Ravens do a very good job picking this up, as you see, the center, Patrick Mekari, hands off Richardson to Ben Powers, and he starts taking B.J. Goodson, except then he starts blocking Bradley Bozeman because he sees Garrett getting by him, tries to get a block on him, and ends up kind of blocking Bradley Bozeman right there. And Goodson's home free, but at this point it doesn't matter. Ball's well out of the hand, and the Browns already got pressure. We can take a look at this ball from this angle. You can just see here, and I'll let it play on slow-mo. So you watch that ball, and then watch MJ Stewart just run into Hollywood Brown. Back in the day, back in the Joe Flacco day, there was a receiver, and I'm blinking on his head. Why do I want to come to Baltimore? All they want me to do is run down the field and get passing interference calls. And the Ravens in 2020 had the fewest pass interference calls go against the other team when playing. It really made no sense. There were a lot of missed calls, and I understand that the Ravens don't throw the ball out that much. I believe this was the first defensive pass interference called against the other team the entire season. I might be wrong. It might be the second, but there's a decent chance it was the first. And no, that was just some bad officiating throughout the season. And obviously not every play is a defensive pass interference, but there were times where there were, and they were just not called. Ravens really had some issues with penalties both for and against them in 2020. But this play goes their way. This is a pretty significant penalty, 29 yards. It's a spot foul, so the spot of the penalty, automatic first down. Let's watch it one last time before moving on. We'll take it off of slow-mo. Watch Hollywood Brown get that outside release. Lamar Jackson just underthrows him. Can't really step up in the pocket. Flags come flying. You can take a look. We'll take a look right here. Watch Lamar Jackson. Watch his mechanics. Motion Hill out. See how he can't. It looks just a little bit narrow. Right here, he doesn't seem to step all the way up into this ball because, yeah, he sees Garrett's coming. He's got to get rid of that ball. Rushes it just a little bit. Has to rush it. But and he doesn't have it. He's not going to be able to make that throw unless he's got good mechanics. He does not, but the Ravens get 29, a first down, and here the Ravens go. Ball at the Cleveland 25-yard line. Empty shotgun. Talked about that last episode. And let's take a look at this play. 3 to right, 2 to the left. Jackson backpedaling, slips out of defenders, takes off. Look at the green grass, and he is going all the way down to the 12-yard line. A pickup of 13 is scored out of bounds by Carl Joseph. Let's take a look from this angle. Backpedaling, ducks under 2 different defenders, outruns a third, cuts to the outside, and just will step out of bounds, protecting himself, the football, and the Ravens drive. And this is zone coverage right here. Look at the eyes. Look at the hips of Kevin Johnson, and look at the eyes. Every player on the field is watching Lamar. That's just a bad drawing. We are going to get rid of that very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these guys are looking at the receivers closest to them. Or he might be looking right there. He's almost looking right there. It could be he is. But you see how many more guys are looking at Lamar Jackson versus in man coverage where maybe you'd have the deep safety looking, but that would be it. So, zone coverage. So everyone's watching Lamar Jackson. Now, technically, you're not meant to be able to run the football if you're a quarterback, if it's zone coverage. Let's take a look at the route concepts first before we take a look at the pass concepts. Okay, again, Willie Snead just getting underneath. Quick route right there. Okay. Talked about high-lows. Okay, just trying to figure out what's going on this one. Okay, so This is actually a symmetrical route concept. You're going to have Snead coming across. Boykin just going to the flat. Then you've got Hollywood Brown's going to go like this and then get up the field. Andrews is going to go like this and get up the field. And Duvernay kind of just running a speed out there. So again, you've got some man options. You've got some zone options. Hollywood Brown's in a great place to try to beat zone here. If you can get the ball in right there, you can try to normally get it in. The same thing with Mark Andrews. And then obviously some of the speed outs. And speed out is another way you could technically beat zone depending on where the defender is going to be. So what Devin Duvernay is running, and then obviously Willie Snead underneath on the mesh concept on that drag. It's not really a mesh concept because there's no guy going over top of him. So that's a route concept. It's a pretty strong one. I like it from Greg Roman. Trying to get down the field. Ooh, look at this right here. Andrew Sendejo. Really. Oh. I'll tell you what. Browns are probably lucky that no referee saw that. Because not 100% sure, but how did Hollywood initiate contact? Let's take a look. I don't know. Hollywood kind of initiated contact and Sendejo just stood his ground. Maybe not. He does have an arm around him. So that's definitely a little bit closer. Maybe could have got an illegal contact penalty. Definitely depends on the refereeing crew. And again, it's tough watching on this camera angle to tell penalties. Not 100% sure. So let's take a look at Lamar Jackson's read quickly. And I should probably draw this out one more time, which was something like this. Oh, I did the wrong guy. So here's Lamar Jackson's read, and we'll be able to tell this. Let's get a different color. It looks like it's 1, 2, 3. So it's just basic reading. You're gonna look. Lamar's looking. He's looking at Hollywood, looking right off the bat. Okay, zone coverage. Does he have it? Does he have it? Is he gonna be able to sit down? Sit down? Not really. Okay, at this point, Lamar's shifting his view a little bit to Willie Snead, looking at Willie Snead right there, while keeping an eye on that pressure. And at this point, he's out. So if you're the reason, so I don't 100% know that it's Andrews next, but just because of the way the progressions work, you work your way across the field. You're not going to, here's the next likely progression, maybe try the deep ball to Mark Andrews. If you can get over top some defenders. But Lamar Jackson was under pressure. Let's take a look at that pressure. Only bringing 4, no Myles Garrett here. So, it's 4 on 5, and Porter Gustin just beats number 96, just beats number 72, Ben Powers. I mean, Powers tries to hit him. Look at Powers. He's trying to get a punch in on Gustin. Punch as not as an actual punch, but just a blow. And Gustin just knocks his hands away. At which point, Powers has done nothing. Gustin's by him. Powers is trying to, he keeps on fighting, which is good for him. And now, on the outside here, on the right tackle, that's Vincent Taylor, number 96. Porter Gustin, number 97, working against Tyree Phillips. He just kind of a mixture of a speed rush. Look, he's got that outside shoulder, so not 100% lined up, but Phillips handles him, pushes him wide. So which is the goal here? If we would just go to the whiteboard for a second. Let's do blackboard because it's really light, I should say. I mean, if you've got okay, hold on. If you got a quarterback right there, and you've got a guy coming on either edge. Now, if he's trying to get around the edge, what the offensive lineman's going to try to do is actually just push him out, push him wider, and let the quarterback just step up, because if he can cut inside, that negates a lot of things for the quarterback. The quarterback's then in trouble. But if he goes wide, quarterback can just step up a little bit and keeps his eyes down the field and makes a throw. So Phillips does a nice job. He pushes him wide. Jackson looking at Snead, but he sees Gustin in his face. Taylor, I should say, in his face. And just Powers is there enough to not let Taylor cut back on him. Taylor goes down as Jackson's going to slip out. Jackson's looking to throw right here. He's looking right here at Willie Snead. Snead, he's not looking at him, though. And at this point, Lamar Jackson's just going to take off. Being chased by Olivier Vernon, who's going to go work against Orlando Brown on left tackle. And almost a holding. Didn't look like he actually held, though. Got close, though. If you look at Orlando Brown's left arm, hooked around. And so Brown beats him. Number 90, he didn't get anywhere. He was double-teamed, though, Jordan Elliott. But not great protection by the Ravens. As now Jackson's just looking at Vernon right there. Like, oh, yeah, my time. Look at all that space in front of him. Devin Duvernay trying to block Terrence Mitchell, number 39. Pretty much does. And not sure. Look at what is Mitchell doing? Facing one way and then tries. I guess he's trying to spin past Duvernay. It works. Looked like he was kind of off balance though. And Lamar Jackson picks up 13. Let's watch this one more time. Jackson empty shotgun. No running back on this play. I forgot to talk about that. This is the 0-1 personnel. This is what you kind of see out of the Arizona offense. It's called the air raid offense. Talk about this really quickly and then we'll watch the other angle. It's the air raid offense where you do 4 wide receiver sets. So it's no running backs, 1 tight end, and 4 wide receivers. The Browns are in the nickel though. So this could be, this is trouble for them right off the bat. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't really get it. You've got 4 wide receivers and 3 cornerbacks. So that means someone somewhere is lined up against a safety. And that's just not the way you're going to want to play the game. Because that is a absolute mismatch for someone. And that's someone here. Now, because it's zone coverage, it's not as much. So that's actually an indicator. If I'm Lamar Jackson, the reason he went to Hollywood Brown first, I would think, is because he sees he's lined up against a safety, Andrew Sendejo. That is a matchup. If your quarterback, you see your number 1 wide receiver lined up against a safety, you're starting to salivate. Like, this is a big play opportunity. That's why he's going to him first. But it was zone coverage, so it didn't really matter as much. But this is that air raid offense that Arizona runs. The Ravens showing a little bit of air raid style. Let's watch this play one last time. So, that's one of the reasons why Arizona's just got Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, DeAndre Hopkins. They're running 3, 4, every now and then 5 wide receiver sets. It was a real issue for the Ravens in Week 2, 2019, trying to have enough cornerbacks to match up with that. Okay, first down and 10, ball on the 12. Under 5 minutes now to go. You can ignore that clock there. It's wrong. In the first quarter. And the Ravens driving. All right, heavy formation here. You can see everyone bunched up. Jackson's just going to keep it left edge. Stumbles trying to get to the edge. Stiff arms. Carl Joseph saying, you do not get to go to my edge. Funny story. It looks like a defensive win, but Lamar Jackson got 6 yards. Watch it from here. Carl Joseph right here. Racing with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's just fast enough where he can still gain yardage while being run out of bounds. A pickup of 6 yards on the play. All right, 22 personnel here. Let's go to this angle. Miles Boykin, he's the lone wide receiver. Got Patrick Ricard and J.K. Dobbins. Those are the 2 running backs. And I think I'm missing a tight end. Nope, I'm not. Mark Andrews and Eric Tomlinson. Now, a lot of guys in this box here for Cleveland. They've got 7 in the box. And they know that that's where they're going to want. You're expecting a run here. We talked about the zone read last episode. Well, this is it. Look at Olivier Vernon. The read is always crash. If he crashes, if he goes wide, it's a running play up the middle, and to switch the color, if he crashes, quarterback will take it outside. That is the zone read, and Lamar Jackson runs it better than anyone in the league. Great vision. He sees Vernon crash. At this point, it's just, oh, look at this stumble right here by Lamar Jackson. Let's just watch this one. Let's just watch this one more time. Let's see if we can figure out where the stumble's coming from. Let's see. Well, Jackson, it looks like he just stumbled. Again, it's this turf. Right as he's making his cut, he's stumbled. Not what you want to see. Don't worry, we'll be seeing a lot more of this stumbling action. Okay, so from a blocking perspective here on this offensive line, is anyone pulling? Yes, so you've got a couple of reverse pullers. So normally you're going to follow the pull, right? No. So you've got the center, Patrick Mekari, and left tackle, Orlando Brown. They are pulling to the right, to the offensive right. The play's being run to the left. And so the defense, they're just not expecting it because there's just no one really out there to block. Mark Andrews gets out there, and here comes Patrick Ricard. Ricard's going to block Mack Wilson. And then where does Mark Andrews is going to go outside to block Terrence Mitchell? But Carl Joseph reads this play really nicely and gets up the field, just does everything right. Lamar Jackson, it's on him to get rid of Carl Joseph. And he doesn't, but he does get 6. So, I mean, just look at the blocking on both sides, though. You've got Andrews and Ricard on one side, and then you've got the offensive line on the other. But as a defense, like, if you're looking right here, and you've got to decide, do I want to, where's this ball going? I mean, you might think there's a decent chance it's going to the left side. Look, I mean, just, to the offense's right side. Look, that's where everyone is. Okay, maybe it's going up the middle. But going to the left, well, yeah, that's what the Ravens do. And it makes it very, very tough for defenses. So let's go to a little bit later in this video. And let's take a look at Vincent Taylor. Vincent Taylor had a big play. He's getting penetration again versus Ben Powers. And Powers is angling himself to prepare for a blocking scheme for a run play here. So he's saying, okay, I'm willing to let you get inside, but I'm not willing to let you get outside. And Taylor's like, okay, I'm just going to get down the field. And to be honest, this plays to J.K. Dobbins. He blows this up. Ben Powers has got to do a better job blocking rookie offensive linemen. Other than that, blocking's pretty solid. You see this double team here on Porter Gustin, courtesy of Eric Tomlinson. Sione Takitaki being blocked by the pulling Patrick Mekari. And then you got Orlando Brown helping out just a little bit after Mekari kind of just like, after Takitaki just like shrugs him off. Great block. Again, no Myles Garrett on this play. Ricard and Andrews do a really nice job blocking here. If you just see, look how long Ricard and Andrews just hold these blocks for. Keep on holding him. That's just great blocking, especially by guys who are not offensive linemen. Very well done. And a pickup of 6 for Lamar Jackson in the red zone. Has the distance to the goal line. And let's watch this one last time before we head to the next play. So Jackson, very tight formation, 22 personnel. And Lamar Jackson. Angles just don't work with him. He just beats them. Normally that's a 2-3 yard play. No, Lamar Jackson, it is a 6 yard gain. Let's watch it this very last time, this stumble. And I'll tell you what, if he doesn't stumble, he might get around. He might be able to beat Carl Joseph to that edge. Who knows? All right, second down and 4. That's ball on the 6. J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. Here comes Patrick Ricard into the backfield. A whole bunch of guys in the box here. Handoff. Dobbins trying to get to the outside. Can he? Will he? No. Terrence Mitchell saying, no, you don't. Pickup of 1. Nice stop there by Mitchell. Let's take a look from the all-22. Look how many guys in the box here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sendeo's not far off. Neither is Redwine. And just a nice stop there by this Browns defense, limiting the Ravens to just 1 yard in the red zone. Okay, first step of this 20 personnel. Ravens going 2 running backs, no tight ends, 3 wide receivers. Browns counter with a base defense. Again, what does that mean? You can have a wide receiver lined up against a safety. Who is it? Where is that matchup? That matchup looks like it might be Redwine. Yeah, Sheldrick Redwine against Miles Boykin. That's the mismatch. Wide receiver versus safety. They'll bring Snead in motion. No one follows. It's zone coverage. Look at where the eyes are. Everyone's looking towards the front. And Lamar Jackson, look where Lamar Jackson's head is. This is a designed handoff here, because he's not looking towards any defenders to see if it's a zone read. So designed handoff to Dobbins. Dobbins, I think he's got a couple of options where he wants to run it right outside right tackle. Look where see Miles Boykin starting to block in that area. So he's going to take off, but Porter Gustin forces him to go a little bit wider. Dobbins tries to cut up the field right there. And he sees Terrence Mitchell in front of him. You're trying to get a little bit more yardage before you try to break through a tackle. So he goes a little wider and then falls forward to the 5. Again, no Myles Garrett here. So in any concept, run concept, talked about this, I think episode 1, you're going to leave someone unblocked. And the guy they're leaving a couple guys unblocked here. Number 1 to correspond for the quarterback. Number 2 to correspond for the running back. Now, if Lamar Jackson's running, you could technically block for 10, but normally the Ravens have a couple of decoys built in to any play, so not necessarily. Terrence Mitchell is unblocked the entire way. You see him right there, and he's the guy who ends up making the stop. Boykin, he's trying to stop the linebackers from getting to the outside. Well, Mitchell's already there. Gotta wonder if someone was meant to get to the second level just a little bit quicker. You see how Ben Powers immediately just tries to get by Jordan Elliott. That's a hook right there. That's almost a holding. Maybe it even is. It looks like they're double teaming Redwine there. And St. Dobbins, you got a one-on-one on a cornerback. Make your move. I think another part of this is Porter Gustin. Look how he's going to force Orlando Brown wide. He stays with Dobbins. That means instead of being able to run right there, Dobbins has to run right there. And I think that doesn't help either. So you do have to wonder though why there's a design unblocked. Why Mitchell is designed to be unblocked. Like I can think of other guys I prefer to say should be unblocked. You see how the offensive linemen here just like pushed past through the defenders. Olivier, they're just not concerned about that. They're just trying to get to the outside, trying to get it in front, and then it just becomes a leg race because because it's designed, and you see obviously Ricard trying to and Snead coming across trying to show, oh no, this play's coming to the offense's left, screen's right. Trying to show that. Gotta wonder if there's this offensive line blocking scheme is all about just getting down the field as fast as you can. Have to wonder if there's got to be just someone was meant to block Redwine, to block Mitchell, or if they're saying, you know what, we're just gonna leave him one-on-one because I've got to. I guess knowing what this play call is, if I would say how would I block Mitchell, I'd do it something like, I mean, because you're losing Snead and Ricard, that doesn't help. And I think that's the issue. I think the Ravens could choose, look, we can block Redwine or we can block Mitchell. Redwine makes more sense right there just because he's closer. And so you're going to likely get more yardage. So that's likely the rationale for leaving Terrence Mitchell unblocked. One last note on this play. Let's look at Hollywood Brown. Look right there. He's just staying with it a long time. And what he's doing here, this is not blocking, right? They're not touching each other. What he's doing is he's cutting off angles for Kevin Johnson. He's not letting Kevin Johnson take the most efficient route to the ball. He's getting in his way. I mean, if I'm Kevin Johnson right here, I want to run like that to the ball. Instead, I have to run like that. And that's what, it's just a different style of blocking. You see that more from wide receivers. There's no point in really having contact, but what they do is just force you to take bad angles to the football. Okay, let's watch this one more time. One-yard run by J.K. Dobbins. Going to the outside, cut it, trying to get by Redwine. Nope. Not happening. Great play by the Browns defense. A lot of guys, I mean, just you see the guys just the defensive line for the Browns. They just, and I know no part of this is designed, but they just get through and they're just, look how many people there are by the football for Cleveland at the end. Let's take it. I mean, look at this view. The end of the play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just great hustle by the Cleveland Browns. Get around that football. Good things happen to teams that flock to the football. And let's just look at this and then look at this tackle by Mitchell. It's a tough tackle in space, open field tackle. Does it nicely. Puts the Ravens in a 3rd down and 3 ball on the Cleveland 5. Down 7-0, trying to equalize. Let's see what they can do here. As we are approaching the 3-minute mark in the first quarter. Jackson shotgun back to the right. 2 receivers to either side. Jackson's going to keep it up the middle and thinks about spiking it after a touchdown. Does not. In for 6 to cap the drive. Let's take a look. Miscommunication on the defensive side, and Jackson's going to take advantage. What is going on here? 22 right off the bat. 22 personnel. Patrick Ricard. He's in the slot here. What do I mean by slot? I don't know if I've talked about this one yet. Whoever the guy is, this is out wide technically. And this right here, or where Ricard is, Andrews is really pretty much in the slot as well in that, so to speak, slot location. This would be out wide, but in this situation, I guess he's the wide receiver. So Ricard in the slot there, I mean, and obviously if he's lined up like right there, he'd be into the left on that offensive line. So Browns, 22 personnel. Browns are in a heavy set. Let's watch Lamar Jackson. Is this his zone read? Where is he looking? Where is he looking? Where is he looking? So this is, I don't think this is the zone read, but it might be. This looks like it's a design run. It's meant to look like the zone read, right? Now, notice it's out of the shotgun, not the pistol. And so, again, you are limited in your running plays here, but you're showing a couple of things here. You're showing Dobbins trying on the sweep, and then Jackson's going to go up the middle. This is what we call the inverted veer, except for the fact that the Ravens are not running it as a zone read, so it's not. Because this is no zone. Look, it looks like he's looking at B.J. Goodson. He's not the read on this play. Jackson's keeping this the whole way. If you watch the offensive line blocking scheme, where's the blocking scheme going to go? You've got a couple guys pulling. You've got Brown and Bozeman pulling from left to right. They're letting Olivier Vernon come free. Now you're going to show. Now, McCarry does a nice job on Sheldon moving. Look at where Sheldon Richardson's lined up. McCarry's going to move all the way over and block him. At which point, look at this A gap. I'll talk about the A gap momentarily. Ben Power, Sheldon Richardson. Adrian Claiborne's number 94. I feel like I keep on saying the wrong name. Tyree Phillips and Ben Powers double team. Still let it. Oh, here's Myles Garrett again. He's back. He hadn't been back since the pass interference play. Vernon and Garrett are just going to come free because the Ravens don't care. This is designed to go up the middle. And now happens to be Bozeman's going to get around and block Myles Garrett. And then Jackson's just going to follow Orlando Brown. And Brown's going to put a block on B.J. Goodson. And Jackson's just going to walk into the end zone. Takes a hit from Carl Joseph at the 1. At that point, it's too late. He's in regardless, and Jackson stays on his feet. So, what do I mean by A-gap? Ignore my crude drawing. These are the A-gaps. Like the text that I was talking about episode 2, I think. Technically out here, I think it's a D. But this is designed to pretty much go, whether it's the A... It looks to me like this was designed to go in the A-gap. If you watching this blocking scheme, the biggest hole for Lamar Jackson, I mean, maybe not. I mean, this is to me where it looks like it should be going right up the middle. It's not. It looks like they want him to follow him to the B gap, though. And then just make your block. So look at this block by Tomlinson on Mack Wilson. Tomlinson coming over from the slot and just gets in front of him and just heads him off. And then Tyree Phillips initially the quick double team on Richardson. And then he's going to get to the second level. He's going to come and block Andrew Sendejo. You saw Carl Joseph come free because the Browns lining up with 2 safeties. So Ravens took out this safety, but not this safety, and Jackson didn't need the extra help. So Phillips, nice job there because Sendejo was going to try to make a play on Lamar Jackson. Phillips like, nope, my guy. It wasn't even a great block, but he just pushes him, forces him to go more inside, and instead of being able to go right through Phillips, at that point, Lamar Jackson is in. For the score, the equalizer. Let's watch this one more time. I'm going to send Ricard and Andrews to the left, Tomlinson to the right, Hollywood Brown, the lone wide receiver, wide right, Jackson. He's just going to go follow his lineman, follow his left tackle, and celebrate with his teammates. The Ravens an extra point away from tying this up. Look at this miscommunication. This is what I was talking about actually at the very beginning of this play. Goodson's telling Vernon to get wide. They do get set, but at the last second, it doesn't help. Orlando Brown taking care of B.J. Goodson, Lamar Jackson in for 6. Here comes Justin Tucker on for the extra point. Sam Cook, the holder. Morgan Cox, the long snapper. Look at Calais Campbell. He will be in on these blocking schemes on extra points. Never really figured out why. A little bit of penetration here. Tavier Thomas kind of gets around that edge. No one else really. Oh, well, yeah, they kind of tried to walk back Macari. To cap a 9-play, and the kick is good. 9-play, 73 yards, 6 minutes and 2 seconds off the clock. Only one pass attempt that counted. It was a 4-yard completion to Andrews. There was the pass interference play, but that was negated. Lamar Jackson on that drive, I mean, of those 8 rushing plays, he had 4 of them, 31 yards, and a touchdown on just 4 carries. Not a bad way to start your game if you're the Cleveland Browns. Browns going down on their first drive and take it into the end zone on a Nick Chubb run, while Lamar Jackson saying, hey, I can do the same exact thing. Browns through the air, And Yak Ravens threw the running plays and the legs of Lamar Jackson. The 29-yard penalty definitely helped as well on that pass interference. There were 34 penalty yards on the Browns, 5 on the Ravens on that drive, so really just 29. And that was those pass interference. And the holding call on Hollywood Brown was to give the Ravens the first down, so that helped as well. So, each team marching down the field on their first drive. Browns, they get the ball next. How will they respond? Can they? This game's got the making of a shootout. I mean, we've got about 3:04 to go in the first quarter. Each team's had the ball once, 2 long drives, 20 plays combined. Whole bunch of yardage, a whole bunch of points. And we will continue this game on the next episode where I hope to see you. But first, please make sure you check out my podcast, Sports with Yosef. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcast. That is Sports with Yosef. Check out the rest of the series both on Sportscaster or on YouTube. SportsCastr.com, username YosefM613. Check out all my articles for Furry Sports Tackler, Sportscaster News, and Rocky and Meisty. And as well as checking out my website, which has all of those mentioned articles, podcasts, and videos. Not all the videos, but a lot of them. YosefM613.com, YosefM613.com, where you can subscribe to get email updates every time I post new content. That's the subscription button, or you just got to put in your email address. It's right on the homepage, right there. Nice and simple, nice and easy. How can you not take advantage of an opportunity like this? As well as following me on Twitter at YosefM613. Browns ball when we get back in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Ravens, Lamar Jackson taking it into the end zone. 7-7 knotted up in Cleveland. I'll see you next time.